Hi there, my name is Kylie and I will be guiding you through your 30-minute beginner yoga class today. I am truly honored to be here to teach you this yoga class, as I know that this may very well be your first yoga class ever. Before we get started, I want to ask you to leave judgment at the door. Judgment towards yourself, judgment towards others, just let it go right here, right now. Take a moment to be grateful and thankful that you are potentially doing something new, and you're certainly doing something really wonderful for your body. I will be providing modifications throughout this class. So these modifications will be options for you. So if a specific posture or pose does not feel good in your body, feel free to take one of my modifications and see if that feels good. In yoga, there should never be pain, so there might be a little quote-unquote discomfort if you are stretching a muscle, but there should never be true pain. So if you are feeling pain in any of these postures, know that there may be a modification out there for you. And don't get too frustrated by that, because there are many, many modifications for every single yoga pose that we do and we will go over. Before we get started, I just want to go over or discuss what yoga is. Many people don't even know what yoga means. I didn't know what yoga meant when I started doing it. So literally, yoga means to yoke. So it is the connection between mind, body, and breath. So that's exactly what we'll be working towards today, connecting movement with our breath, and then seeing if we can bring the mind into it a little bit. So think about all of the thoughts that are constantly flowing through your mind, and perhaps we can let go of just a few of those thoughts during this class and focus a little bit more on the present moment. So the way our body feels in these postures and the way our breath feels as it moves in and out of our body. Just a couple of quick tools here that I have that I personally love to use when I practice. You can use tools if you'd like, and you certainly do not need to. So I have just a towel here. You can use a towel or a blanket. This is awesome underneath the knees when we're on our hands and knees, or potentially just on our knees or a single knee. So sometimes you might need a little extra cushion under the knee. This is an awesome tool, a towel, pretty simple. The second tool is a yoga block. So yoga blocks are certainly not necessary, but they are great for supporting our practice. So sometimes we need the floor brought up to us just slightly, so a yoga block can do that, creating just a little more space between our hand or some part of the body, most likely the hand, and the floor. I will cue you through a few different options with blocks, but know that it is a really great tool to have on hand. So without further ado, let's get started with our yoga practice in Shavasana. So Shavasana is simply lying down on the back, taking up lots of space, face up towards the ceiling. Allow your legs to come wide apart. Toes can fall outward. Palms shine up towards the ceiling. Shoulders melt into the mat along with the head. Allow your whole body to become heavy here. And just begin to notice. What is your body trying to tell you about maybe the day or the week that you've had? Is your breath full or shallow? If Shavasana is not completely comfortable to you, maybe you have a little pain in the low back, you can bend your knees and place the soles of the feet onto the mat. Another option here is to bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Wherever you are, just lie and breathe. Notice your inhales and your exhales as they flow through the body. And aim to bring a big exhale in, aiming to make your inhales and your exhales equally as full, equally as long. You have no place to be right now except present on this mat. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Nod your head no from side to side. Reach the fingertips overhead, find a full body stretch. Point and flex the feet. Circle out the wrists. Circle out the ankles. Bend the knees. Bring the arms out to a T. And then allow the knees just to fall from one side of the room to the other. Finding a little release for the low back and beginning to warm up through the hips. Anchoring down through both palms. This can be slow, it can be fast. You choose the pace. Come back to center. And then cross your right ankle above the left knee. Sole of the left foot is on the mat. You can stay right here. This may be a really great hip opener for you. If you choose this option, just begin to breathe deeply, in and out of the nose. If you would like to take this stretch just a little bit deeper, you can lift the sole of the left foot off of the floor and then interlace fingers behind the left hamstring or the left shin. Flexing the ankles is very important here. This is going to help protect the knee joint. And if you feel any pain whatsoever in the knee because of this movement, allow yourself to back off. Maybe bring the sole of the left foot back onto the floor. Uncross the right ankle. And then again, allow your knees to windshield wiper just a few times here, releasing the low back. Left ankle crosses just above the right knee. Both ankles flex. You can stay right here if this feels like a great hip opener. Or you can lift the sole of the right foot off of the mat and interlace the fingers around the hamstring or in front of the shin of the right leg. Shoulders, head, and neck are anchored down to the mat here. So if this movement is not accessible for you, interlacing fingers with your head, neck, and shoulders on the mat, you may want to just place the sole of the right foot back onto the mat and enjoy that hip opener there. Left knee is being sent forward as both legs are gently brought towards the body. Find a full body stretch, extending fingers and toes in opposite directions. And then hug the right knee into the chest, wind-relieving pose. You can interlace fingers in front of the shin, or you can use a towel or a strap around the front of the shin. The other option is to interlace fingers behind the right hamstring. Squeezing knee towards chest. This is so good for digestion. You can stay right there, or you can move into a spinal twist, allowing the right leg to fall across the body. Left hand comes to the outside of the right thigh or the right knee. Right fingertips extend all the way to the side of the room. Feel free to keep your eyes closed here if that provides a little more relaxation for your body and your mind. Continue to breathe even in this twist. Full breaths in And full breaths out. Bring the right knee back to center, and then we'll switch sides. Left knee squeezes in towards the chest, maybe even just to the left of the rib cage or the torso. And then interlace your fingers wherever it's comfortable, really squeezing and hugging the knee into the chest. You can nod your head no from side to side if that provides some release through the neck and shoulders. Both legs and ankles are active here, so flex through the feet, reaching the toes towards the ceiling. Again, you can stay in that compression and window relieving pose, or you can allow the left leg to fall across the body, moving into a twist. Encouraging the left shoulder down towards the mat, although it does not need to anchor down by any means. It's okay if it's peeling off of the mat here. Take a few breaths as you twist, and just notice the sensations that arise as you move through these different postures. What happens to your breath? What's happening to the physical body? Bring the left knee back to center. Bring both knees into the chest and roll from side to side, massaging the entire spine. Deep breath in. Give yourself a big hug, a moment of encouragement. Then begin to rock and roll forward and backward, lengthwise on your spine. And eventually you might find that you get some momentum to come into a comfortable seat on your mat. The other option here is to roll onto your right or left side, press up through the hands, and come into a comfortable seat. Either option is great. Finding some head and neck rolls. Sit up nice and tall, soften shoulders away from ears, and allow the head to roll from side to side. You may take this movement a little bit slower than you started, maybe rocking back and forth on areas of tension or tightness. Allow gravity to do the work here. As you inhale, come back to center. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Full inhale and exhale. Big breath in and full breath out. One more inhale and full exhale. Shoulder shrugs. Shoulders come to the ears, and then shoulder blades squeeze together, softening shoulders down towards the floor. Plant the left palm, extend the right fingertips up and overhead, finding length from hips to fingertips. Plant the right palm to your right side, extend left fingertips overhead. So we're going more for length here than we are this arch. Let's do that one more time. Reach fingertips all the way to the ceiling, anchor down through the hips. Beautiful, big breath in, extend, and come back to center. Extend the legs out in front of you. Flex the ankles so the toes reach up towards the ceiling. Remove the fleshy part from underneath your sits bones. Plant the palms. Find a tall spine. Shoulders soften away from ears. Crown of head reaches towards the ceiling. You have the option of finding a big bend in the knees. Here we'll find a forward fold. So you can grasp onto the outer edges of the feet or the calves. And then just start to walk your hips back one at a time until you feel that you're at a space that feels like it's a nice, comfortable stretch to you. Not going further than you should or further than it feels good. And once you find that place, you can start to soften chin towards chest, maybe rounding the shoulders here. You can turn this into a completely passive stretch, allowing the forearms
or the wrists to just soften to the sides of your thighs. Wherever you are, find breath. And then sit up really tall. Soles of feet come together and knees fall apart. Inner arches of the feet are peeled apart. Find length in the spine. And if you'd like to take this just a little bit deeper, you can bring the elbows to the inner thighs. You can also bring a towel underneath your sits bones. Again, sometimes that just little tiny lift can feel really good in the body. The other option is to extend the fingertips out in front of you. Play around here and just notice what feels good, what doesn't feel good. Go to the space that feels good in your body. As you inhale, sit tall. Zip the knees together, and then again, windshield wiper, legs from side to side. Slow this movement down any amount. And then find tabletop position. Plant palms onto the mat. Shoulders stack over wrists. Hips stack over knees. This is a great place to use the towel under the knees. Might feel just a little better. Cat and cow. Chin comes to chest, shoulder blades reach towards the ceiling, and then drop the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Exhale, press the floor away, chin comes to belly. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, gaze comes in, press the floor away. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. Exhale, arch the spine, press the floor away. And come back to center. Knees come apart. Extended child's pose, belly softens in between the thighs. Fingertips extend out in front of you, or you can stack one or two fists. If you'd like to bring your forehead to a steady surface. So as you can notice, my hips are really close to my heels here. This may look and feel totally different in your body. And know that that's totally okay. The hips can be up in the air. They can be towards the heels. It truly does not matter as long as this posture feels good in your body. Take a deep breath in and full breath out. Inhale back to tabletop. We'll find downward facing dog just briefly here. So feet are about hip-width distance apart, maybe a little wider. Tailbone reaches towards the ceiling. Knees can be really bent here. Legs do not need to be straight. If you're ready, if it feels good, you can find some movement, pedaling the feet or swaying the hips from side to side. You may get some shoulder fatigue, so know that it's totally okay to come into tabletop anytime you'd like. And then perhaps you find downward facing dog again. Gaze comes towards the top of the mat. Feet walk towards the hands. Ragdoll position. Feet are hip-width distance or wider apart. Grasp onto opposite elbows. Allow the head, neck, and chest to hang heavy. Keeping a bend in the knees. Maybe you choose to sway from side to side. Or perhaps stillness is calling you in this posture. Wherever you are is great, as long as you're going where it feels good in your body. Allow the fingertips to soften down towards the earth. Heel toe the feet in just slightly and roll slowly, slowly, slowly all the way to stand. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears and soften them down and back. Shrug the shoulders up and then release. Inhale, extend the right fingertips up and overhead, just like we did in that seated option. Left fingertips slide down the left thigh. Finding that on the other side. Right fingertips slide down the right thigh. Left fingertips reach up and overhead. Beautiful. One more time each side. Anchoring down through both feet in equal amount. Just find length here. Fill your lungs, open your breath. Hands come to heart center. Finding tree pose. This is a balancing posture. You always have the option to use a wall or a chair to help you balance. Right knee opens towards the right side of the room. Sole of the right foot can either be used as a kickstand or you can slide the foot up the shin. What we want to avoid is foot on knee joint. So either bring the foot above or below the knee joint. Hands can stay at heart center, or you can find an expression or a variation for your fingertips reaching overhead or grasping onto opposite elbows behind you. We'll find that on the other side. Again, you can use a wall, you can use a chair here to help you balance. Wherever you are, breathe and see if you can keep your eyes focused on one non-moving point. This is going to help your balancing postures a tremendous amount. Awesome. If you fall or if you wobble, that's totally okay. Awesome. Inhale, extend fingertips overhead. And exhale, find a forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, palms press into shins. And exhale, plant the palms onto your mat. Bring yourself into downward facing dog. Tailbone reaches towards the ceiling. Press into each finger pad an equal amount. And then come into tabletop. Step the right knee or right foot forward in between your hands. Again, great spot to use a towel under the left knee. Option to either press one or both hands into the right thigh, or you can extend fingertips towards the ceiling, maybe even choosing a heart opener, cactusing the arms. Sending hips forward. You're welcome to stay right here, or if you'd like, you can lift the back knee off of the mat, finding crescent lunge. So it might take a moment to find your balance in this posture. If you do find crescent lunge, lifting back knee and back heel off of the mat. See if you can straighten through that back knee. Hands can stay at hips. And then slowly soften the knee back down to the mat. Coming back to tabletop, we'll find that on the other side. Left knee steps forward, encouraging both hips forward towards the front of your mat. You can bring one or both hands to the left thigh, or you can extend fingertips towards the ceiling. Again, you are welcome to stay there if that feels like a really good stretch in your body. Or you can come up to crescent lunge, lifting the back knee off of the mat, maybe bringing hands to hips, or extending fingertips towards the ceiling. Slowly come down to the back knee if you took that option, and then work your way towards tabletop, swaying the hips from side to side, staying there as long as it feels good, and then find downward facing dog as you're ready. From down dog, we'll come down to the knees, and then all the way down to the belly. Palms press under the shoulders, finding baby cobra. Elbows squeeze towards one another, lift head, neck, and part of the chest off of the mat. Almost no weight in the hands. And exhale, soften your right or your left cheek down to the mat. Arms come to the sides. Palms come back under the shoulders. Send hips up and back, downward facing dog. Again, knees can be really bent here if that feels good. Reach the right heel towards the ceiling. And then step the right foot in between the hands. You can always come down to hands and knees and step the foot forward that way. Back heel is going to rotate down towards the back of the mat. This is warrior two. Deep bend in front knee. External rotation or opening of that knee. Fingertips extend in opposite directions. Flip the left palm, reversing your warrior, reaching up and back. Legs stay exactly where they were in warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Right forearm comes to the right thigh. Left hand either extends towards the ceiling or hand comes to hip. Again, this is a challenging posture, working the legs. Breathe through it and take a break anytime you need. Hands cartwheel down towards the mat and step it back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Come down to the hands and knees. Find a few rounds of that cat and cow. Moving through these flows with our breath. So dropping the belly and then arching the spine. Just find this movement on your own. Take as many rounds as you'd like, and then eventually find downward facing dog. Left foot is going to step forward. Back heel rotates down so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. Big or small bend in the front knee. External rotation and opening of that knee. Fingertips extend in opposite directions. Left palm flips towards the ceiling. Reach up and back. And then find extended side angle. So left forearm is going to come to the left thigh. Same options for the right fingertips. In any of these postures, we want to make sure the knee is not coming over the toes. So if you see that happening in your crescent or your warrior two, bring the knee back towards your body. Always wanting to protect the knee joints. Cartwheel palms, find downward facing dog. And then come down to the hands and knees, sway the hips from side to side, releasing tension in the low back. You can stay on your hands and knees, or you can find downward facing dog. Hands are going to walk to the back of the room. Bend in the knees. Utkatasana chair pose really briefly. Sink hips down towards the heels. You've got this. Hands can come to the hips or fingertips can extend overhead. Inhale, reach up, breathe up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up, look up. And big exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, lift through the right knee. And then plant the right heel onto the mat. We'll find airplane arms and start to bring the weight into your right foot. Left heel can lift off of the mat any amount. This is a big balancing posture. Inhale, extend fingertips towards the ceiling. Lift the right knee high. Exhale, take a step forward, bringing weight into the left foot. Extend fingertips behind you. Reach the left heel behind you. Awesome. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, find one more chair pose. Sink hips down into heels, towards heels. Inhale, rise tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up and look up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale, breath. Big exhale. Inhale, extend the fingertips overhead. Exhale, find a forward fold. Inhale, palms press into shins, straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Allow the head and neck to soften. Inhale, press palms into shins, lift halfway. Exhale, find downward facing dog. This is our final downward facing dog. So just notice what it feels like. And slowly come down to the knees. And then we'll find a comfortable seat onto the mat. Wide-legged forward fold. Extend the legs out. Reach the fingertips overhead. And just start to walk your hands forward any amount. Shoulders come away from ears. You can always keep a gentle bend in the knees. Soften chin towards chest. You can stay here or walk your fingertips towards the right heel or ankle. And then walk fingertips all the way over to the left thigh. Inhale, come back to center. And then walk your hands back up. Zip the legs together, give them a nice big shake out. Inhale, bend the knees. Place the soles of the feet onto the mat. Place your palms onto the mat. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling any amount. Really big chest and heart opener. Exhale, soften hips down to the mat. And then inhale, press into the hands, press into the feet, lift hips high. Exhale, soften back down to the floor. Slowly, slowly roll all the way down onto your back. Hug the right knee and the left knee into the chest. Massage your back by rocking from side to side. If you choose, you can come into happy baby, reaching for the insides or outsides of the feet, pressing the tailbone down towards the mat. This feels really good. Sometimes this posture feels a little funny to do, but it's really awesome for the body, for the hips, for the back. Place the soles of the feet back onto the mat, close enough that your fingertips can touch the heels. And slowly start to lift hips high to the ceiling, much like we just did on our hands and our feet. Either press the hands into the floor or start to shimmy the shoulders underneath you, and then interlace fingers underneath the low back. These are both just options. Choose the one that's right for you. Soften hips all the way down to the floor, and then allow the knees to fall from one side of the room to the other. You can bring your hands out to a T. Finding waterfall pose. Soles of feet are going to reach towards the ceiling. This is an awesome place to use that yoga block, elevating your hips and taking some of the work out of the abdominals. If you do not have a yoga block, that's okay. You may find that your knees are quite bent here. You can also bring your hips onto your hands, and that can just bring a little bit of elevation in here. You can bend and straighten the legs if that feels good. This is a really restorative posture. So good for releasing swelling in the feet or ankles. Whenever you're ready, lift your hips off of the block. Soles of feet come down onto the mat. Knees fall apart. Bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart, and allow yourself to soften into supine bound angle pose. This is a really great hip opener. It's also a great place to just connect with breath. You can stay in supine bound angle pose. If this posture does not feel good on your body, your low back specifically, you can always bend the knees and place the soles of the feet onto the mat, bringing a little bit of stress away from the low back. Eventually, find some movement in the knees, rocking the hips and knees from side to side. And then hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a huge squeeze here. Maybe you rock from side to side a little bit longer. And after you've given yourself a big thanks, a big hug, a moment of gratitude, take up as much space as you can, ending class just like we started today, Shavasana. Same options here. Knees can be bent, soles of feet on the floor. Allow yourself to rest and connect with breath. Allow each and every muscle in the body to soften. Eyes are closed. Muscles in the face are really soft. Notice the support that your body's receiving right now from the ground and your yoga mat beneath you. And just know that you always have this support. Take a few more full breaths here. See if you can stay present in this space, feeling your inhales and your exhales. as they move through the body. You may stay here as long as you would like. And when you're ready to come out of your practice, start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stretch the arms overhead. Find a full body stretch. And then roll onto your right or left side, knees hugging towards the chest, fetal position. Give yourself another moment of gratitude. And then eventually roll yourself into a comfortable seat on your mat. Hands rest on the thighs, eyes closed. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Inhale fully, open mouth, sigh. Bring your hands to heart center and a slight tuck to the chin. The teacher and the student in me honor and respect the teacher and the student in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this class today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and keep practicing. It will get easier and feel better the more you practice. I promise you that. And you may just surprise yourself even within a few tries of yoga. So I hope you have a great day. Namaste.